Good evening. I'd like to call the Board of Supervisors meeting for Thursday, May 19th to order. Please join me in pledging to the flag.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Again, I'd ask that everyone just double check any phones or electronic devices, make sure they're on vibrate or off. This meeting was duly advertised in the Lancaster newspaper on December 1st, 2021. At this time, I would like to turn the meeting over to our counsel for our hearing for this evening.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, members of the board, ladies and gentlemen. This is the point in this evening's hearing where the board has advertised a legislative hearing to consider adopting an ordinance that has as its title truck traffic and no stopping, standing, and parking restrictions. This is the board acting in their legislative capacity. If they were to adopt this ordinance, the ordinance would become a part of the code of the township and enforceable by our police department. It's called a hearing, but it's not a hearing like you would see in front of a zoning hearing board, and certainly not like you would see in a courtroom. It's a legislative hearing. The board takes what is essentially public comment, and the public comment should be focused on whether you believe the board should or should not adopt this ordinance and the reasons why. The ordinance has been advertised, the hearing has been advertised, and proofs of advertisement are a part of the official record. Mike, do you wish to say anything?
Sure. Yeah, essentially the ordinance is one that we've been talking about for quite a little bit of time. We're looking at trying to take action to prohibit all trucks from turning right from Line Road onto Wabash Road. Also looking to prohibit trucks in excess of 30 feet in length from traveling on Wabash Road between 272 and Reamstown Road, except those trucks making local deliveries. And the last part is to prohibit stopping, standing, and parking on both sides of South Muddy Creek Road from Stonehill Road to the township boundary line, and on Trost Road from South Muddy Creek Road to Colonel Howard Boulevard. In regard to the truck restrictions and the right turn, we did contract with Vertu, who completed a study of both of these areas, submitted that to PennDOT. PennDOT did give their review and approval, as well as a recommended a requirement for what signs needed to be posted there. So tonight, following the hearing, and then once the board takes action, we will follow it up with the removal and of the current signs that need to be removed, and the placement and installation of the required signs as approved by
PennDOT. Anybody else on staff, or Casey, you have no comments? Mr. Chairman, you can open it up to the public.
Okay, thank you. Any questions on the ordinance? Yes, sir.
John, are they going to get rid of the accept local deliveries? Because truckers take that as an exception to the rest of the signs.
Yes, the signs that are approved on Line Road will eliminate, what's there now will be taken away. They're weight restricted, and they include the accept local deliveries. There will be no sign prohibiting trucks from turning left onto Wabash, but any truck coming down Line Road to turn right, it just will be posted as no trucks on Wabash. So there will not be accept local delivery in that area.
Okay.
There will be the accept local delivery between 272 and Reamstown Road, that part of Wabash. Correct.
Any other questions? Yes, ma'am.
Are you also posting a sign outside of Four Seasons there that they can't make a left to come down Wabash?
Yes, we had spoke with Four Seasons, and we are placing those signs. They weren't part of what we had submit to PennDOT before ceases an agreement, and we'll be posting it to come out of their driveway to try and prohibit trucks from turning left there, instead going right towards 272.
Okay, thank you.
Any other questions? Okay, so what is the wishes of the board?
I'd like to make a motion to adopt ordinance number 2022-01, an ordinance of Township of East Cocalico, Lancaster County, Pennsylvania, amending Code of Ordinances, Chapter 206, Article 1, by deleting Section 206-12.1.c, Chapter 206, Article 1, Section 206-12, to add to the list of the streets on which right turns are prohibited. Chapter 206, Article 1, Chapter 206-12.1, to add streets on which truck traffic is restricted. Chapter 206, Article 1, Section 206-10, by adding to the list of streets on which stopping, standing, and parking is prohibited, and to authorize the installation and enforcement of street regulatory signage.
Okay, and I will second that motion. I will ask just one more time, any other comments or questions about that motion? Okay, seeing none, we have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed, none, and the motion carries. Okay, we did have announcement of an executive session. We did have an executive session, as I announced at the end of our meeting, last Board of Supervisor meeting on May 5th. That executive session was for personnel matters to discuss the manager's position and related to the manager's position and resumes that we received. No decisions were made. Okay, past meeting minutes for approval. Any comments, changes, addendums, anything at all? Okay, then yes, sir.
Yes, in the public comment on the draft, Ron Forsyth, by the way.
Yes, sir.
In the public comment on the draft, it said that the Board of Supervisors noted that they had no idea what Mr. McElhaney, when he brought up the public comment, was referring to. So I was asked for the record to present to the board for clarification of what he was talking about. He had asked me to present this to the board just for the record. So there could be some clarification on his public comment that was made at the last meeting. May I?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. You can approach.
Thank you. For Mike and for council and for the board. Thank you.
Yep. So, wishes of the board on the minutes.
I'd like to approve the Thursday, May 5th, 2022 Board of Supervisor meeting minutes.
And I will second that. Again, any questions, comments? Seeing none, we have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
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 Opposed, none. The motion carries. Okay, land planning engineer, Casey.
All right, Casey Kirshner, background engineering, first on the agenda tonight, Mount Zion Baptist Church. Based on the date of action, the consultant submitted a time extension request. The motion before you tonight would be to accept the written time extension offer as submitted by the applicant consultant dated May 12, 2022, which will extend the deadline for action on the Mount Zion Baptist Church final landowning plan until October 7/7/2022.
Anyone representing this plan tonight? Okay,
I'll make that motion.
so we have a motion, and do we have a second?
Yeah, I'll second it.
We have a motion and a second. Any comments or questions? Seeing none, we have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
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 Opposed, none, and that motion carries.
Next up, 395 Moundsville Road, Stormwater Management Plan. This was previously known as the Beyond Stormwater Management Plan. Just some of the background, the property, I believe, was recently sold to a new homeowner. So as you can imagine, the new homeowner is navigating everything with a stormwater management plan. Based on the time of action, we did reach out to their consultant, and their consultant submitted a time extension request for a year. So the motion before you tonight will be to accept the written time extension offer as submitted by the applicant's consultant dated April 27, 2022, which will extend the deadline for action on the stormwater management plan for 395 Moundsville Road until May 18th, 2023.
I'll make that motion.
You didn't expect anyone for this one either. Okay, and I will second that motion. Any comments or questions? Okay, seeing none, we have a motion and a second. All in favor? Aye. Opposed, none, and that motion carries.
All right, and lastly, for tonight on my agenda, 9 Whitetail Drive Stormwater Management Plan, financial security reduction. Just to kind of recount what happened during this project. The plan was designed to have an underground infiltration bed. During construction, they hit a spring, they made an above ground basin to the underground to remediate that area with the underground spring. So that's why there are 2 motions here before you tonight. One for the security reduction, and another one to authorize the board to sign and update the stormwater management easement agreement we recorded. That's pretty atypical of how this process works, but that's the background. So first motion, I can read these at the same time if you like.
Yeah, let's do them together.
First motion to authorize a $34,683 reduction in the current financial security being held by the township for the 9 Whitetail Drive Stormwater Management Plan, resulting in the remaining financial security being reduced to $3,340. The second motion to authorize the board of supervisors to sign the updated stormwater management easement agreement for the 9 Whitetail Drive Stormwater Management Plan, executed and certified by all necessary parties, and submitted to the township in a form acceptable to the township method solicited.
Okay, I will make a motion for both those motions as read by our engineer.
I'll second that.
We have a second. Any comments or questions on those 2 motions? Okay, seeing none, we have a motion and a second for the 2 motions. All in favor?
Aye.
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 Opposed, none. The 2 motions carry. Thank you.
That being said, unless there are any further questions, that is all from me.
No, great. Enjoy the game.
Thank you.
Thanks, Jason. Okay, Mike.
Yep, the next 2 items on here, the PennDOT traffic signal maintenance agreement and the CM High backplate proposal are all connected with the preemption equipment that we're looking to have installed on the balance of the 2 traffic signals in the township, the one at 272 and Garden Spot Road and the one at 272 and 897. As per the discussion at the meeting on the 5th, the township transportation engineer had mentioned that the township would have to enter into this master agreement with PennDOT for the maintenance of these signals since we had not done so already. So he had provided the township with a copy of the form, which we had filled in, essentially just, it's sort of a boilerplate template with PennDOT in regard to what we'll need to do as the township to maintain these signals. So the first part of this is a resolution 2022-09. It's a resolution of the Board of Supervisors of East Cocalico Township, Lancaster County, Pennsylvania, to authorize and submit the traffic signal maintenance agreement to the Pennsylvania Department of Transportation. So that's the first thing we're going to have to do for our signals. And he did mention that if a new signal goes in there at Hill Road, it was going to be required anyway, so we're kind of getting ahead of that part of it. The second component, and maybe I'll just describe them both and then we can take action on these separately, is when we discussed at the last meeting and the board approved going ahead and adding the preemption equipment at, first doing the permitting and then adding the equipment at the two signals that we mentioned there. John had mentioned the next day that PennDOT now does require, when any modifications are being performed on any overhead apparatus, that we need to meet their requirements in regard, upgrade our existing signals, to add these new back plates behind the overhead signal heads with a black aluminum type one. So if anyone's been driving, you see that, and the sun shining, it differentiates out, so you know that there's a signal there, and you can more easily determine whether it's green or yellow or red in that case. So he didn't feel that CM High had included that in their quote. I did contact CM High, they confirmed that, so they did give us a new quote just for those two pieces, and as what you have in front of you, the proposal to add those at the 272 and Garden Spot backplates were $3,000, and to add them at 272 and 897 was $3,100 for an additional $6,100. Overall, the total price for the preemption equipment then, as of last meeting, we were looking at about $31,200. We'll go up to $37,300 to complete that work. That includes the permitting, that includes the preemption signals, that includes the back plates, as well as the equipment for the police cars that we're going to add. Also, once this is done, the township, as I indicated to the board in their report, Vertu will submit our TE 160s, which is a form we need to submit to PennDOT, and that's part of their process with the permitting. And then the township will contact Ephrata Township with the total cost for that signal at 272 and Garden Spot Road, and request that they consider sharing that cost with the township. Haven't done that yet because we want to make sure we have the final cost before we do that.
Mike, let me add to that just for the public. So the 272 and the Garden Spot backplates, the quantity there is actually 7 of them. I'm sorry, 8 of them. There are 8 of them there. And then the 272 and 897 backplates, there's another 8 of those at that intersection also that they'll be installing.
Yeah, the difference is one is 12-inch, there's 7 12-inch at the Garden Spot, and there's 6 12-inch at 3-12-inch, and the other one there's 2. So there's just same number, but just a little different in one of the back plates that's going to be there compared to the other. So that added the extra $100. So you have 2 items after your discussion to consider, 2 motions. One is to adopt resolution 2022-09, authorizing the township to submit the traffic signal maintenance agreement to PennDOT. And the other is the motion to contract with CM High to purchase the required aluminum traffic signal backplates with reflective borders for traffic signals at SR 272 and 897 and SR 272 and Garden Spot Road at a total cost of $6,100 as per the proposal dated May 13th, 2022.
So breaking is in the 2 separate motions. Yep. Okay, I will make a motion to adopt resolution 2022-09, authorizing East Cocalico Township to submit the traffic signal maintenance agreement to PennDOT.
I will second that.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Any questions or comments? Yes, sir.
Doug Mack, you're still gonna put this out to someone else to do the maintenance. This is just simply something that says township notifying the state that you're gonna maintain them, is that correct?
Right, in the form, the agreement, we had to list not only the contact of the township, but also the firm that we have that does that work, or just see it on.
Yeah. Any other questions, comments? Okay, so seeing none, we have a motion and a second. All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Opposed, none, and that motion carries. Okay. So Mike, the next one you needed there was backplate.
Yep.
So wishes of the board there.
I make a motion to contract with CM High to purchase the required aluminum traffic signal backplates with reflective borders for the traffic signals at SR 272 and SR 897 and SR 272 Garden Spot Road at a total cost of $6,100 as per the proposal dated May 13th, 2022.
I will second that.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Any questions or comments related to that motion? Seeing none, we have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
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 Opposed, none, and that motion carries.
Okay, our next item is a standard item that we do each year. It's the traffic signal maintenance agreement, again with CM High. This agreement covers the period of July 1, 2022 through June 30th, 2023. CM High will maintain the 7 traffic signals, Township 2 at Colonel Howard Boulevard and 2 school flashers. And the cost for the annual maintenance agreement is $2,895, which has remained the same as last year, so that hasn't changed at all. So there's a motion for the board to consider to approve CM High 2022-2023 traffic signal maintenance agreement proposal in the amount of $2,895.
Okay, I will make a motion to approve the CM High Incorporated 2022-2023 traffic signal prevention maintenance agreement proposal in the amount of $2,895. And do we have a second?
I'll second that.
We have a motion and a second. Any comments or questions related to that motion?
I guess just for informational purposes, that is the same price as what we paid last year. Something that didn't go up.
No inflation in that,
None in that.
but that's transitory inflation.
But their responsive labor rates and such might have changed a bit.
Okay, so seeing no questions or comments, further comments, we have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
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 Opposed, none, and that motion carries.
Yes, the rates did change.
Okay, next item, the Lancaster Bicycle Club Covered Bridge Classic Bicycle Ride Event. Townships received notification that the Lancaster Bicycle Club will hold their annual Covered Bridge Ride on Sunday, August 21st, 2022. Ride consists of 35, 65, 100-mile scenic bicycle rides through Lancaster County. They indicate do not request or require any police services or road closures, and instead will separately request traffic control services, I'm assuming through fire police, on a very limited number of major or busy intersections. They're just requesting the acknowledgement from the township, starting this request and the township's approval. Also, they want to know whether the township will require a certificate of insurance, which we have in the past. So Lisa had pulled off of last year's action, the motion that was approved at that time, and that was a motion to approve the request received from the Lancaster Bicycle Club for the annual Covered Bridge Classic, CBC, to take place on Sunday, August 21st, and contingent upon Lancaster Bicycle Club providing a certificate of insurance to East Cocalico Township.
Will the police department or the township staff be entering a team in this event?
At least not this police department.
I asked last year. What's that?
I've seen the fire police there in the past.
I think he's saying.
No, enter as a team
Oh, I wasn't.
in the 100-mile
You
run.
guys going? I'm ready.
We'll start at the 35-mile one.
Work our way up. 36.
Okay,
I'll make that motion.
we have a motion.
To approve the request received from the Lancaster Bicycle Club for the annual Covered Bridge Classic, CBC, to take place on Sunday, August 21st, 2022.
And I will second that. So we have a motion and a second. Any comments or questions? Okay, seeing none, we have a motion and a second. All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Opposed, none. The motion carries.
Okay, as part of my report, we are looking to try to complete the loop on a couple of items that have been going on for a little bit of time, and one is the municipal building generator. The update we have is that essentially we went through, recall we received a series of quotes that range from $27,000 to $62,000 for the installation of a generator, a transfer switch, all the connections that need to be made, as well as the decommissioning and replacement and possible removal of the existing one that's stored right now in the little building out back. We initially approached, because some of these, as we brought the different companies in, they presented different types of ideas of how they would want to wire that. So we learned, and I think the sort of the framework morphed a little bit when we brought them in to make sure that what we were going to put in there was going to be able to provide service to the entire building, not only the police, but also the authority and the administrative offices. So we came up with sort of a newer plan in regard to how that transfer switch would be wired in and what type of service would be needed to continue that operation. We then, because we had sort of some different views, anytime you do something like that, the company gives a different there was a different model, there was a different approach that they were taking. We did approach Arrow Consulting to see about developing a proposal to put together a bid spec to try and standardize it. When we had got that proposal back from Arrow, that cost was $19,757. So we decided that was too expensive to move in that direction. I did follow up with a couple of the companies, particularly the ones that we were, as we ranked them, that we're looking at were ones that we were looking to move forward with possibly, to see if in fact any of them were CoStarz type of companies. One where they sell the equipment itself through CoStarz, which would eliminate us the township having to bid that product, and then also if any of them were registered with CoStarz to provide ancillary services. So essentially they could then do the installation without having to bid for that. Right now, only Powerton was one that have responded that they do sell the generators through CoStarz, but they do not have an ancillary service agreement with CoStarz. And Dynatech was the other that has both. So right now, Dynatech would be one that the township could contract with via CoStarz to actually purchase the Cummins 50 kilowatt generator, the Eaton 400 amp automatic transfer switch, and then to decommission the existing generator along with the installation at $45,545 as per their updated estimate on April 28th, 2022. We would not have to bid if we wanted to go in that direction. So wanted to just update it to the board to make sure you're aware that these numbers are changing. Each of the ones that we got a proposal back from, their numbers have gone up. This one had gone up a little over $2,000, and I've been advised that they will be going up again shortly. So we need to decide how we want to handle this and what next steps we want to take. We did budget in the 2022 budget $62,000, I believe, in that ballpark, I think it's $62,500, that we were putting for this project, and that was based off of the initial study that Arrow had put together for us when we were going through the budget season. So we are seeing a bit less than what worst case scenario, what we thought, but the goal is to make sure we get something in here that's going to work in the event that power goes down and we all can continue to operate.
So let me ask this question related to this item, because Judy's here. In my notes related to ARPA,
Yes.
would this not qualify under ARPA as a public safety item?
Yes.
The reason is this would be directly tied to the police department, which is attached to this building downstairs.
There are several reasons that we could use ARPA funding. For the police department also, in case the power would go out, we could continue operating. That's another reason we could use it. We did budget it in ARPA, and we budgeted $60,000.
See, even my budget estimate was going up by $2,000. I got caught up in the excitement.
Utility services are also considered public safety issues by Homeland Security, so that's an additional, because of the authority being here.
So this is one of those items, speaking to my fellow board members, that as this transitory inflation, and I say that raising my eyebrows, continues, this might be an item we actually, the ARPA funding is there. We had it in the budget. We need to get this done ASAP before they come back. And the other part of this is, I do not know what the lead time is going to be on this equipment.
So 40 weeks.
40 weeks.
Yep.
Well,
That was cut down from
So,
50 something,
so
wasn't it?
this one might be on a container ship off the coast of China, not even off of LA.
40 weeks till it's installed, 40 weeks till it gets here.
No,
I think that we could.
I think we discussed this quite a bit at budget time. Talked about it for the ARPA funding, and yeah, by not taking action, it's escalated a little bit. So yeah, it's Dynatech and several of the others are all reputable companies. They're co-stars certified, so I don't see a reason why not to move forward.
Then do we have a motion?
Motion to contract with Dynatech Generators for the purchase and installation of a Cummins 50 kilowatt generator and an Enon 400 amp automatic transfer switch, and to decommission the existing generator at a total cost of $45,545 as per the estimate number 5842 dated April 28th, 2022.
I will second that. Are there any other comments or questions related to that generator? Okay, seeing none, we have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
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 Opposed, none, and that motion carries. Mike, with that 40 weeks, I'm sorry, that 40 weeks, was that their current estimate on that?
Yeah.
That transfer switch hits the whole building.
Okay, next item is county, as we discussed before, has ARPA funding that they have made available through a grant program to municipalities and authorities and other organizations to meet community-wide benefits such as infrastructure, water, sewer, broadband, clean water, public safety, law enforcement, EMS, EMA, technology modernization, workforce development, planning or mitigating for disease prevention, and affordable housing. So that is a rolling grant program that goes through August 31st. And we discussed a little bit at the last meeting, about this money that's available and how do we maybe want to try and see if we can gather some of that money for the township to be used for a purpose that's going to benefit our community. I spoke with the chief following the meeting, and he had indicated, which reminded me that we have 3 police vehicles budgeted for 2022 to be purchased. And the thought was maybe we could, since we have that money budgeted, look to purchase 6 police cars and essentially use our money for 2022 to leverage the equivalent of ARPA monies to renew our fleet with the 6 police cars. That's fully purchase of cars and fully equipped and everything with that, correct? Total cost we were looking at would be, that we'd be applying for, would be about $146,320 in county monies to try and make sure we can match what we're doing here.
We may need to increase that slightly because we will need to purchase potentially 3 additional dash cams or mobile video recorders for the cars. So that would be an addition. I think that would potentially be covered, Mike.
Yeah, it would be lumped in.
Could we adjust that?
Yeah.
We have $28,000 budget this year for 2 of the ones we already that are being delivered, but we would need either 2 or 3 more.
And really what we're trying to do is fit into the scope of what the county is offering funding for, as well as using existing monies that we've budgeted to spend this year. It's not like we're pulling money out for something that wasn't budgeted or out of reserve. This is something that we were going to be spending this year, and if we could double that money, whatever it comes in, it's 146 or 148, whatever that amount comes to, it's going to be a benefit for the community. So I already started to write the grant, but wanted to make sure, obviously, you guys are on board to give the go ahead to do that, and then we'll get that turned around and submit it within the next week to the county. And then if the chief could just give me an updated cost with that, we'll attach that to it. And then we'll see if we get $150,000 from the county to benefit the township.
Chief, let me ask you this. So that strategic plan we pulled together, that 5-year plan, you had put in there the projections for the EOL, the end of life on these units, right? So we had those two coming up for this year, of course. So these two would have been anyway, if I remember correctly, it was about a year and a half out, or just under a year and a half, that could be other units that were hitting end of life.
This
Right.
will enable us to retire some of the older cars, keep some of the midlife cars, and, have the new SUVs on the street. Probably the midlife cars will be used more for training, speed details, and other incidents when they occur. But the new patrol cars would be the ones you'd see out the street pretty much every day.
And then for the public's understanding, when we were having those discussions, if my memory's not correct, I'm going from memory, please let me know, okay? When we were looking at end of life for these units, we were asking you to really stretch it a little bit further because we were trying to cascade 1 or 2 units. So even though these units were planned to be retired in about a year and a half on the schedule, the end of life schedule, it really should have been earlier.
There's
So
some
this
that we
will
use
help us.
longer than we would normally have, but we made it work, so the new cars coming in will definitely help the midlife cars last a little longer, because they won't be on the street every day.
Thank
I guess that's a little bit where my thought process went too. If you're having 6 new cars come in, does end of life still remain the same for those additional 3 cars? They'll stick around because a little bit longer because they won't be used as hard, or?
Some of the cars we were planning on keeping around for those extra details for training or court will be retired, and the midlife cars will be moved more towards that function.
But nothing's really leaving sooner than end of life.
Well,
It's a subjective
it's almost
question, I
past,
understand.
and, there's some of them should be end of life.
Okay.
So if we can, get them on Coastone or Municipal, move them out, transfer any equipment we can, I think we will benefit. And then, to be honest with you, when the new cars, the 6 new cars, 7 new cars we have, will be coming to end of life in 4 or 5 years, it might be time to sit down and look at a lease program, because in the past, we kind of shied away from that because we don't have all the cars expired at once. Now we will. That might be the time to move into programs that some other departments use, where it's swap out the entire fleet, and then continue that every 3 years. But that really never fit us because of buying 1 or 2 cars a year.
Well, that spreads out, I guess, the budgeting issue just a little bit every so many years. So, yeah, if there would be a way to anticipate that 5-year end of life so it isn't a big slug coming.
Right. Oh, yeah, absolutely. That's why I think the lease option might be something to look at.
Okay. All right.
Thank you. While we're at it, I'll just say, any questions, any comments related to this item? Okay. So, Mike,
If the board's comfortable with that, you can consider just a motion and authorize the township to submit a grant application to Lancaster County for ARPA funding to purchase 6 police vehicles in Cocalico Township.
and I will make the motion as read.
So is that instead of, we already have some orders, right?
The one was delivered for the previous crash car. 2 more are waiting on lights and should be delivered as soon as they get the lights.
So it's 6 additional.
No, it'll be 3 additional,
Okay.
those 2 in a truck, and then 3 additional to that.
I'll second that motion.
Okay. Again, any other questions or comments? Okay, seeing none, we have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All right.
Opposed, none, and that motion carries.
All right, the township roadmaster had received a email from the consultant Scott Stock working with PennDOT. They're the engineering company that does the routine bridge safety inspections in the county, and they did an inspection of the Gaiman School Road Bridge over Little Muddy Creek, which I believe is shared with Brecknock Township and East Cocalico Township. Found that the additional deterioration to the steel I-beams makes the load rating analysis change for that bridge. So they can no longer carry illegal weight trucks safely. So as a result, they are recommending the installation of new weight restrictions on the bridge to post it to be 16 tons, except 23 tons combination, and the bridge limited to 1 truck. So essentially what we'd have to do, or what they're asking for us to do, is to acquire and post the required signage at the bridge. We'd be doing it on our side, and Brecknock would be doing it on their side to make sure that the bridge is safely posted. I did follow up with the, and then to notify the emergency services, which I don't know if Brett had done that to you yet or not. I'll let you know that. But I did talk to John Schick, and he said we will need to pass an ordinance because we are changing those signs to make sure it's enforceable. And he said we could use, though, PennDOT's study from their engineer to verify that ordinance. So this is really just more of a report in that make the board aware that there are changes there that are coming, and that we will be getting the signage. And in the meantime, I'll be working with Matt and his crew to draft up the ordinance so that we can take that similar action in the future.
Mike, I'm sure you'll coordinate with Brecknock in terms of those signs should probably be done on their side, the same time they're done on our side.
Right.
Right. Thank you.
Okay. Next item is the salt shed. We have in the budget to replace and to add on to the salt shed, I should say, at the road crew. And when we went out, Sharon, myself, Casey, Ken, and met with Brett out at the site to look at that, we saw that we have essentially additional impervious surface when you add what has been added to that facility in the recent past, plus what may be added with this new salt shed itself, another 2,000 square feet, that we're going to need to do a stormwater management plan in order to bring that property into compliance before we go and actually add on to that. So we did ask Becker Engineering to submit a proposal and a scope of services, which includes the design and preparation of the stormwater management plan, the development of the operation and maintenance agreement, and the provision of the as-built certs at the conclusion of the project. The total cost from Becker Engineering to do that work is $7,800. And again, we would then be accounting for and managing our 8,176 square feet of impervious area added to that facility since the stormwater plan went into effect. The plan is that as they design it and do that work, I believe we were looking to have the road crew actually make the physical improvements at the site to meet what needs to be done, but we do need to prepare and develop the official work so that they know what to do and that we get it recorded and we're in compliance with all of our guidelines as well. So you guys, the board does have a copy of the proposal that we just received, and you do have a motion if you're inclined to approve the proposal for professional services submitted by Becker Engineering for the Township Salt Shed Building Stormwater Management Plan at a cost of $7,800 as per the proposal dated May 16, 2022.
Okay, what are the wishes of the board?
I will make a motion to approve the proposal for professional services submitted by Becker Engineering for the Township Salt Shed Building Stormwater Management Plan at a cost of $7,800 for the proposal dated May 16th, 2022.
I will second that.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Any questions or comments? Seeing none, we have a motion and a second. All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Opposed, none. That motion carries.
All right, the next item, Adamstown Area Library has requested from the Board of Supervisors whether you'd be willing to support their summer reading program called Tales and Tales, spelled properly, Tales and Tales. What they do is they try to engage kids during the summer to participate in the reading program, and part of that is they give prizes for those participants as incentives. And some of the area pools have donated in the past 5 daily pool passes, and the proposal is for the board to consider donating 5 daily pool passes to the Reachtown pool for the Adamstown Area Library to use as incentives. It's a good way of getting the community out reading, since that is our library. It's also a good way, an opportunity for the township to attract possible new members to our pool, and we do it at really minimal cost. So if the board's in favor of doing that, you can consider a motion to donate 5 individual paid pool passes to the Adamstown Area Library to use as incentives and contest prizes for their 2022 summer reading program.
I will make that motion as read. Let me ask, is there a second?
I'll second that.
We have a motion and a second. I want to make a comment on a personal level. My kids went through those programs. I think they're valuable. I think the more, on a personal basis, I think the more we can get the kids away from electronic devices and actually physically reading hard copy material, I think the better it is. I think it's a great program. So, any comments or questions from the audience? Okay, seeing none, we have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
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 Opposed, none, and that motion carries.
And just the last item I had is the swim team. I got an email today from the swim team, Police Chicago, said that there was a correction from the newsletter. They just said the pool will close to the public at 5 p.m. on the days the swim team hosts home meets. It takes about an hour to set up for the meet. So I think the newsletter may have mentioned something that the meets are in the morning. So when the schedule does not change, that we talked about before, but they just wanted that clarification. So if anyone's planning to go to the pool early in the day on a swim meet day, you could swim, but you just can't swim after 5 o'clock. That's all.
Mike, we can get that on our website, right?
Yeah.
We also have that printed on the back of the hours printed on the back of the cards
For the pool or for the?
for the pool.
Yeah, I think it just looked like the swim meets were held during the morning, and they're not. They're held at night. That's all I have.
Thank you. Okay, Chief, Police Department report.
Good evening. As we mentioned last meeting, Ken, is Sergeant Projan on Zoom by chance?
No.
Okay. I invited him to receive a letter from the Township Supervisors that was prepared. But I will read what I would have read if Sergeant Projan was present. Sergeant Projan began his career with the East Cocalico Township Police Department on May 18, 1997. During the time Sergeant Projan was assigned to patrol, he became a certified accident reconstructionist, and he was also honored several years as one of the DUI or county DUI top guns for his efforts, in DUI enforcement and arrest. Sergeant Projan was promoted to corporal from officer in 2014 and promoted to sergeant in 2016. The hard work Sergeant Chris Projan put forth has benefited the citizens of the Cocalico community for 25 years. He will be missed, and we all wish him the best in his retirement. And we will make sure that the letter we get the letter to his residence.
Great.
I received an email on April 18th from Tracy Lynn, who is part of the Lancaster County, or I'm sorry, she's part of the Center for Traffic Safety for the DUI Council of Lancaster County. Excuse me. She was notifying myself and Officer Logan High, that he will be presented with the department's DUI Top Gun Award for his 19 DUI IRS in 2021. That will occur on June 14th, 2022 at the training center during their DUI conference that they hold every year. So I will say Officer High received the award last year. And I don't recall the exact number, but I think it was 18 last year. So his continued efforts are appreciated, and I'm sure you will see pictures on Facebook of all the officers that will be honored throughout the county on that day on June 14th. So I just wanted to make you aware of that, and if you see Officer High, congratulate him. We're very proud of him.
It does look like he is on Zoom.
Sergeant Progenis?
Aye.
Thank you. Don't know that we continue to have officers trained in the crisis intervention training. This past session, Detective Van Alsdahl attended and is now certified as a crisis intervention specialist or officer. And I completed our juvenile facility designation juvenile holding facility for the year 2022. Basically what that is, the state requires any facility that would hold the juvenile, whether in custody or whether they've been located from being a runaway or otherwise, that we report that monthly. If we have no contacts or no juveniles that were brought back to station, we just mark a 0 and it goes through. But every year I have to answer numerous questions in reference to our holding facilities, whether we detain any juveniles and whether we actually did it in the cell, which there's only a very few circumstances where we're allowed to do that. So we're good to go for another year. And keep in mind, National Night Out is coming up, and I would like to say thank you. And we're still receiving donations from many of the local businesses, but we have had a tremendous response to the letters we send out from the businesses. And I think this year's National Night Out will hopefully be just a little bit better than last year's. And I think the dunk tank is going to be there, and I know they're working on the bolt. So the mechanical bolt, that's what it is. So we will hopefully see that in August in Reamstown. So that's my report for tonight.
Thank you, Chief. Any questions for the chief?
Does that mean you're in the dunk tank?
I haven't done it yet, so I think
that's first.
I think that might be for the younger, newer officers, maybe.
He won't be in the dunk tank because he'll be preparing the bicycling team representing the police department for the 100-miler.
Right.
I can bring a real bull if you want.
Chief, I'd like to add to your report a little bit. I saw on Facebook and everyone's talking about it. We've had many calls for ducklings and storm drains.
Yes.
And I saw one of our detectives down in one of the drains the one day. I just had to do that myself on Tuesday. They were crossing the street at the restaurant. Okay. So I had to kind of stop traffic. I was pretty crazy, but appreciate you guys going out. There was a lady that posted it on Facebook. She apparently drove here and asked if someone would come with her to help her, and I think Officer Gonzalez was there, and the Reamstown Fire Department went out right there on Church Street. So that was cool. That was cool to see it. They posted a whole video. So that's good.
Good. We'll pass that on.
Okay, thank you. Okay, Director of Community Development, Sharon.
I don't have anything as cute as ducklings, unfortunately.
You have a bicycle team for 100 miles?
No. I could participate in that, no. Okay, so what I have is a resolution and motions going along with that to appoint Technicon Enterprises, currently providing our sewage enforcement officer services, as the township's third-party building code agency, the building code official, zoning officer, and stormwater enforcement officer and enforcement of the other codes that individual handles. This appointment would have Technicon replace Commonwealth Code Inspection Services, who are currently doing our building code services, and they are their building code official. Along with that, currently, as you know, we have Ed Patton from ABI handling our zoning and code enforcement. He's here 16 hours a week, and we pay for that on an hourly basis. With having our building code agency provide handling the zoning permits and things like that, the cost of those is all wrapped up into the permits, so we will not be paying for any of those services. Basically, we will be paying for anything that's non-permit related, such as enforcement actions and things like that. So it would it'll result in a significant reduction in cost to the township to make this change. I'm trying to think what else I want to tell you about that. Technicon has a lot of experience providing municipal engineering services, building code, zoning, sewage enforcement, basically all of those types of things. They do not do design work for developers, so their focus and experience is 100% in municipal government. They provide those services for Brecknock Township next door, including engineering. They're in Alsys Township up in the Reading area, and there are a host of other municipalities all over the area that they serve in one capacity or another, combination there. So we'd like to have you take action on this tonight. We are required by contract to give ABI 30 days notice prior to termination of the contract, and we need to have both of those things, Commonwealth Code and ABI, in at the same time. So we'd like to have the services formally terminate us on July 4th and Technicon to take over on July 5th.
Okay, thank you. Okay, what are the wishes of the board?
Do you have any thoughts, sir?
What's that?
Do you have any thoughts, sir?
No, I think it's the appropriate thing to do just because of the cost savings involved.
I should say that I'm still hoping that we can find a qualified zoning and code enforcement officer to be a staff person, because I believe that we need that. I still believe we need that full time. But in the interim, as you know, we are having tremendous difficulty doing that. All the advertisements that we placed most recently in all the different places, we got no applicants. So it's an area that is tremendously in demand all over the place. This is, I believe, a very good solution. We'll have sort of everything coordinated in a much better way, and I think that will result in, as I said, cost savings to the township, but also better services to our residents and to this community.
Yeah, I attended the PSATS conference and I went through the vendor hall, and I spoke to some different code enforcement companies, and they said basically the same thing as Sharon. There's no employees. They're aging out, the requirements to get the licenses to be able to inspect these things. It's just really intensive, and it's really hard to get employees in this field right now.
It's a thankless job, particularly zoning. You're not if you're you're really popular and everyone likes you, you're not really doing it right, unfortunately. So those folks take a lot of abuse, there's a lot of burnout, and people just don't come out of college, aiming to be zoning officer.
Okay, what's the wish of the board then?
Just by seeing their hourly rates and stuff, that's a big difference.
Yeah, I do want to make clear that they included that as part of the proposal, but we do not have adoption of their fee schedule
Right.
on the agenda or as part of this resolution tonight, because we need to marry basically their fee schedule with the fee schedule that we have, which overlap. So we want to, I'll be presenting you with a resolution to adopt a fee schedule in the very near future, which will involve any adjustments that we want to make to their fee schedule, plus it'll make a lot of changes to the township's fee schedule to be more in alignment with that. But I don't expect to be looking at any significant changes to what they proposed.
It's just all kind of part of the process, with that department changing in the last year, with Sharon coming on board and looking to see what direction we want to go, how we want to go there. So trying to, in my view, sort of pick off different components and move this in that direction. And tonight is the first step. And as Sharon mentioned, she'll look through the fees and try to make sure that over the course of the next 2 meetings in June, we have something to you guys to be able to approve that. So when they start July 5th, we have that out, people know what it is, and it's approved by the board.
Yes.
And so it's sort of a systematic way of getting to where we want this department and where we want community development to go in the township.
Gentlemen?
This year, right?
Hmm?
This year. I will make a motion to adopt resolution number 2022-10-A, resolution of the Board of Supervisors of East Cocalico Township, Lancaster County, Pennsylvania, appointing Technicon Enterprises, Inc. as the township's third-party construction code agency, and Michael Reiner of Technicon Enterprises, Inc. as the township's building code official pursuant to the Pennsylvania Construction Code Act and terminating construction code official authority of Commonwealth Code Inspection Service, Inc. and Andrew Nelson of Commonwealth Code Inspection Service, Inc. Do I have a second?
You wanna say that?
I will second it.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Any comments or questions? Yes, sir.
Question, Doug, couple questions, Doug Mackman. Are you making this change simply for money? Or is it the inability of the person or firm who's there now not able to do the job?
This is about the quality of service that we're receiving, or lack thereof. The financial aspect is certainly a bonus, if you will, but the quality issue is the driving force here.
And you, Sharon, had made a comment that there's significant cost reduction. What does that mean?
Well,
I mean,
currently, we're paying for hourly rates to have the zoning officer here 16 hours a week, so it's a flat hourly rate. That isn't really, we don't have zoning permit fees high enough to offset that. But with the fee schedule that Technicon has, it's structured so that anything that's, for example, just a zoning permit, we collect a fee. They do not receive any portion of that fee. That's part of their service. For building permits, zoning permits get reviewed as, virtually almost all building permits also have a zoning permit. So they're doing the zoning officer work as part of that process of reviewing the building permits and doing inspections. So it's not, something that they have to do that's extra, that we're beginning billed extra for. And it's basically the way they work it is there's a permit fee, there's a zoning permit fee and a building permit fee. And then the township will retain a portion of that, anywhere from, 15, 20, 25% of what the fee is to cover our cost of administering building code, zoning services in the township. Is that what you wanted to know?
Well, that was some of it. Will you still be utilizing Becker Engineering as you have in the past to help the zoning officer or this firm that you're gonna hire? Are you still gonna employ Becker to, I know just about every month there's $2,000, $3,000, $4,000 goes to Becker for zoning issues, as far as helping in the zoning office. That's still gonna apply?
I mean, I'm not gonna say
I don't mean to put you on the spot,
No,
but
I
there's a lot of questions.
No, it's a legitimate question. Because Technicon does have a broader background and experience in their staff, I think that we can expect to see that drop considerably.
The scope of what they're offering, Mr. Mackley, we're expecting that the Becker portion should be reduced. Based
For
on the scope.
assisting the zoning officer cost, yes.
Okay.
Okay? Thank you. Any other questions? Okay, so we have a motion and we have a second. All in favor?
Aye.
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 Opposed, none, and that motion carries. Okay, Sharon, I think that was everything, right?
No, there's actually 3 motions because we broke this down into sort of 3 components. That's for the building code agency. Then there's the separately the zoning officer appointment, because that is a formal motion that needs to be made by the board. And then the last motion is to terminate the contract of ABI and provide that 30-day notification. I thought it was better just to work.
Okay, so I will make the motion to appoint Technicon Enterprises Incorporated to administer and enforce East Cocalico Township zoning ordinance, stormwater management, and earth disturbance ordinance, property management and other codes, and to appoint Edgar Nelson of Technicon Enterprises, Inc. as East Cocalico Township zoning officer, stormwater enforcement officer, and code official as authorized by section 614 of the Pennsylvania Municipalities Code, section 220-147.A1 of the East Cocalico Township zoning ordinance, section 185-10.F of the East Cocalico stormwater management and earth disturbance ordinance, and as otherwise provided by the code of the Township of East Cocalico. The appointment shall take effect July 5th, 2022. We have a second.
I'll second that.
So we have a motion and a second. Any other questions on that motion? Yes, sir.
I'm sorry, I hate to keep coming back.
I'm sorry, name.
Doug Mann.
Thank you.
Sorry, hasn't changed. You just said something, the new firm is going to be doing, and forgive me because I'm going back, but PCI used to be our code enforcement building code official. Is this new firm qualified to do that also? In other words, it was a separate from Tony at the time.
Yes, as I said, they have over 20.
That was the other part of the question.
Yeah.
I went brain dead for a minute.
It's okay. They have over 20 years of experience,
Okay.
well over 20 years of experience doing this work.
All right, that's fine. Now's the time to ask the question. Once it's passed,
Absolutely.
it's too late.
Okay,
Thank you.
yep, thank you. Any other questions? Okay, so we have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed, none, and that motion carries.
One more.
Okay, and then we have one more. The motion to terminate the contract of Associated Building Inspections, ABI, to provide interim zoning and code enforcement officer services to East Cocalico Township, and to provide 30-day notification to ABI as required by the contract. The termination shall be effective as of July 4, 2022.
And I will second that. So we have a motion and a second. Any other comments or questions? Seeing none, we have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
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 Opposed, none, and that motion carries.
I really appreciate your support with this. This is gonna be a big improvement to the services that we provide to the community, and it's going to be a huge help to staff as well moving forward. Really appreciate it.
Thank you.
Appreciate what you do. There's a lot going on there.
Okay. Financial Administrators Report.
Yes, good evening.
Good evening.
All right, so I have my usual balance sheet for you to look at. This is as of April 30th, 2022. The one thing that I would like to point out is I have moved all of the accounts, all of the escrow accounts out of the general fund and into the developer fund. So that will look a little bit different. It just keeps better track of the escrow funds. I'm sorry, I should say financial security funds. So you're more aware of that cash that's available in the general fund that doesn't belong to a third party. The next report is the budget status report. Again, this is as of April 30th, 2022. It does not include any expenses or revenues that were received in May so far. If you don't have any questions, I'll move on.
Saw a big chunk of real estate tax obviously in there.
It's not in this report for now, but I do have a separate report for it because I didn't want to make you aware of it. No questions?
Nope.
Okay. The next report is a report that Mike was asking about. So I started this report off with the balances in the bank accounts at Ephrata National Bank. So you can see the effect that the revenue that we received in May has had on our balances. They're quite large. So from May 1st to May 19th in revenues, we have received $1,667,272.38. The majority of that is in real estate taxes collected in April, $1,337,000, late taxes of $150,000, and higher taxes of $63,968. And then there's some various other revenues in there as well.
Okay.
Any questions on that?
Gentlemen?
Okay, so the next report I have for you is the filing of our first COVID-19 ARPA project overview report with the federal government. On this report, I indicated that we received $953.19 in program income, and that is basically the interest that the funds earned up until this point. We have spent $26,487.59 to March 31st. This report is through March 31st. I included the two budget status reports so you can verify the numbers. I'm reporting that we are using this money as revenue replacement, which will hopefully help with our audit. We have that blanket exemption of $10 million for revenue replacement, so hopefully that will make our audit easier when this gets audited. It required that I provided an explanation of how the revenue replacement funds were allocated to government services, and my statement was improvements to equipment for remote work and meetings, replacement of outdated equipment for police, implementation of new program for clean water. Now, also included in here is some emails and some information on updated reasons to be able to use this funding. The first one is from the county. It's on what Mike spoke earlier when he was explaining about the police cars. Ken McCrae, our MS4 coordinator, also had some ideas for projects that we could request additional funding from the county for MS pollution reduction, possibly stream improvements and roadway flooding, that type of thing. So I don't know if when we submit a grant application, if it just needs to be one application or if we can submit multiple. But I don't know if you have an opinion on that.
I guess the board had discussed previously about flooding issue right out here on Hill Road. Whether there'd be some ARPA money used for that one way or the other to attempt to correct it. I think, correct me if I'm wrong, that we create an action item just for some preliminary analysis of what it would take from Becker Engineering.
Right, we haven't received that back, but we did ask them. And they indicated, obviously, it's not just at the crossing there, but it's going to be a little further upstream that they would have to address that. So, so that is part of one of the items that we were looking at with it. I think the reason why we rolled into the police one was that was a quick one that we could easily get done and submit it in, just so we make sure we have our plan. But there's nothing with the county that says only one proposal per municipality. I think the authority had submitted for maybe up to $4 million worth of ARP monies, because they have that much. They have $8 million in projects that are pending this year right now. So as we kind of cross off and get some additional information in, we could generate that application and submit it as well.
So it can be multiple submissions. Okay.
Another communication we received regarding the ARPA funding was from the Deputy Secretary of the Treasury, encouraging local governments to use their allocation on expanding the workforce and providing competitive wages, expanding access to affordable housing, and keeping our families and communities safe, basically public safety for police and firemen. We have done that to a large extent with what we've done with the fire companies as far as the self-contained breathing apparatus, and also with the pre-exemption devices on the lights. But that's what they're encouraging at this point. And then the last article I have for you was, this was on May 13th. It was announced that $10 million from the ARPA funding was used for policing and public safety. That was found from the reports that were submitted on March 31st. So that seems to be where a lot of local governments are spending their ARPA allocation.
Is that nationwide or statewide? Or?
That's nationwide.
Okay.
Okay, the last meeting I promised an aging report for our accounts receivables, and I have given you a copy of that. So I basically have this split into 4 sections. The first section is for developer reimbursement receivables. I believe this is the one that you were most interested in. We were looking to see what was 120 days or more past due. And if you look at the columns here, you can see that we actually have more money in deposits for a long period of time than we do bills owed. So we actually have credits of $10,504 for more than 120 days. Currently, I need to bill $29,093 out. So that isn't even in the columns yet. I was able to get $7,725 billed out. This is over about 30 different developers at this point that we're sending these invoices out for. The next section is for other invoices that are for billable items, mostly for Denver Borough, for police services, and also for the school district, for the school resource officer. They total $208,255. You can see the long-term receivables in this category are mobile home taxes that weren't paid. On the next page, we do
Judy,
have, I'm
Judy,
sorry.
just for the public's sake, so of that 208, roughly 75% of those funds are for police services
Yes.
and for the school district.
Correct.
So roughly 75% of that.
Even more than that, close to 95%.
Yeah, I'm sorry, my math is incorrect, you're right.
So about 200,000 is for those two things.
Yeah.
Okay, the next section, these are deposits we have that need to be returned. When I went through the reports in my accounts receivable ledger, I found that there's about $10,800 in deposits. And by deposits, I mean escrows that were paid to cover engineer and solicitor bills from 2017 and prior. Sharon and I have been working together to locate these people, to get addresses so that we can return this money to them. That's where this portion of it stands. The last portion is invoices that are really, really old. And they appear to me that there may have been some mistake that was made in the past. Possibly somebody paid their invoice, but it didn't get recorded in the accounts receivable ledger. Something I want you to understand is the receivable ledger does not talk to the general ledger. There's really no way for me to reconcile these accounts because of that. I need to keep records offline in Excel spreadsheets to be able to reconcile these numbers because they're also on a cash basis. We don't book receivables. So there's really no way to reconcile this information. But I did put out in the column the dates that these invoices were sent, and you can see they're really old. I don't know that we're going to be able to collect them, and honestly, I don't know that they're really owed. It could just be a mistake. So I would like permission to write them off. I'm not sure if that needs to be in the form of a motion, or in which case we may have to wait until the next meeting to do that.
Your stuff here from 1998,
Yes.
2010, 2012, 99.
Yeah, it's from 1998 through 2019.
And the reason I feel that 2019 might need to be written off is, and that one's easy enough to research, but that was during the period that I didn't realize that this system existed. And it's very possible that I received the money and I just didn't put it in this system.
Do the auditors have a recommendation of what the proper approach would be for the board to do it? Could it be done by motion?
They didn't really say. I did ask them for work papers to validate that deposit to return number, but they indicated that it was immaterial, so they didn't really audit that portion of it. for something that they haven't audited, I don't know if they would offer an opinion, but I can certainly ask.
If we're gonna make, so we need to think about this, because if we're going to make, this is a write-off of about $10,593.47 from items from 1998 through 2019. 3 of the items are prior to 2000, all of the other items are after. There are currently 12 items in total.
And I also want to make you aware that doing this will not affect the budget for 2022.
So,
Okay.
so my thought process here is, if we're even considering writing these off, a motion should be made to write these off, but the motion, I believe, should include exactly what these items are.
I was going to suggest a resolution. This way you list them all, the auditor decides that it's a necessary and material thing, and we have that direct record of what we did.
Right, Matt, but they should be itemized.
Correct, but $10,000 they're saying is non-material, but our resolution is just as easily done.
Just,
I'll take care of that for the next meeting.
just as a point of comment, Judy, the last one has no date with it there, but
It doesn't, that is current billing. They did have a balance in their escrow account. They asked for a refund. They indicated to them that I would send them a refund. After that conversation, there were invoices that came in and it eventually paid up that balance. It was this amount more than what they had in their escrow balance. So I could bill it. It probably would be a point of contention, but I could bill it if you would want me to.
well, a deal's a deal, I guess.
Well, procedurally, would we have billed it in the past?
Yes.
And then if procedurally we would have done that, we have to keep consistency in what we're doing.
I would say,
So it needs to be billed,
I would say.
my opinion.
It should be.
That way we would only have 11.
All right,
No,
any other
12.
questions?
12, because I didn't include that one in the first time. 12.
Okay, any other questions on the receivable, Eugene? All right, last thing, and this is the fun part. I provided you with a list of suggested budget adjustments. You'll remember last meeting, I spoke a little bit about the $200,000 CDBG grant that I found we wouldn't actually be receiving the cash or paying out the expenses, and I felt it might be worthwhile to do a budget adjustment because it would keep the budget tighter. We wouldn't be tempted to spend that money on another expense just because we had it in the budget when we were not getting the money anyway. So this is a list of items that I'm thinking that we should make a motion for to adjust the budget. Again, I don't think we can act on it tonight, but if you're in agreement, I can come up with motions for next meeting. Did you want me to go through this list, or did you want to take a look at it?
I'd like to take a look at it, mull it over.
All right. So then if you have any questions, I did try to provide a reason that I think they're needed. If you have any questions, just please let me know or let Mike know, and I can give you some details. And also, on the bottom, I have some recommended money transfers that we can also discuss next meeting. I'm looking for amounts that you'd be interested in transferring.
Okay.
And that's everything.
Thanks, Judy.
Thank you, Judy.
Yep.
Any questions for Judy? Okay, thank you, Judy. Okay, Roadmaster report.
Yeah, the roadmaster is at a school function, so he had sent his report, so I was just gonna hit some of the highlights for him, and if there's any questions that I can't answer, I'll make sure I get them answered. The main report, go into a couple different items, one big one being the pool, that we contracted for the coping to be replaced. He did reach out to the contractor who said, right now, he does not have a delivery date. We knew we were getting close to the pool opening for the baby pool coping to arrive. Once it gets there, it'll take 1 week to replace. So the crew did make some patch repairs to the coping, and we anticipate the baby pool will be open, whether the new coping did or not. And then we do have a short break between the first week of opening before it opens for the season, a couple days, so we may be able to get that work done depending on when that arrives. It should only be a minor area though, and hopefully not cause any impact to the pool itself. But the road crew has been working quite a bit up at the pool, getting everything ready to run. They've had the stopping there, putting the new vacuums in place, trying to make sure they clean the sweeper filters, all those things. One of the vacuums went down. Denver Borough lent them a vacuum to be used, which I think they're going to return tomorrow. But we're projected that we'll get everything ready to go by the start of the season. The new pool warden system has been installed and is up and running, and so we're working through all the pool issues that need to come into effect before the big opening on May 28th. The road crew also has worked to stain the structures at the Fishing Creek Park. The rec board had asked to have those stained, and we did do that, but I think we may look at a different color, right, or a darker stain. So they've also working with Ratu to set up the pre-construction meetings for the street work this year. They still have some work they need to do prior to the paving in Reevestown Heights to deal with the some of the stormwater replacement work that needs to be done. They completed a project along Mones Hill Road where they recreated a swale along the roadway. Flooding and water used to lay there along the roadway and didn't have proper drainage. Completed all the inlet inspections for MS4 for Area 4, and begun spraying weeds in the township. So it's our first time we get to put the new certifications to work, and that's including signs, guide rails, and spraying poison ivy behind the fence line at Homestead. So that's just a quick overview of the May report for the roadmaster.
Thank you, Roadmaster.
Yeah, I did promise that I would answer any questions they would have, but I was hoping nobody asked a question because it's not good.
Does anyone have a question for Mike? Okay, thank you. MS4, Ken.
Be doing the annual inspections coming up soon. I've sent out half the batch of letters for DMP inspections, and we'll send out the other half next week. I didn't want to send them all out the same day because I would be many phone calls to deal with, that 70 in total. And that's going to be taking up pretty much the rest of my time in the next month or so, doing those inspections.
Okay. Any questions for Ken for MS4? Okay. Thanks, Ken. Okay, treasurer's report. List of bills.
Yes, treasurer's report. Total general fund bank account for the list of bills in the amount of $139,272.50 with a starting date of May 6th to an ending date of May 18th. Is there any questions on those bills as presented? Yes, sir.
Yes, Jeff.
Your name, sir.
Doug Macklin. Builder Insurance Agency, check number 62352, their invoice number 908. What is VFC workers' comp? I know what workers' comp is, but what's VFC? What's that all about?
Volunteer fire company.
Okay, firefighters.
Good.
Anybody else?
I have one.
Yes.
Two above that. That is not Derek Kepley's petty cash. That is the check that I made out to me, to cash. My name is on it, or petty cash, to cash at the bank for the department. So that is not mine. That is, I just want to make that clear. That's the department petty cash fund.
So, so noted, Judy. Okay, yeah, anybody else? Seeing none, I make a motion to approve that list of bills as presented.
I will second that. So we have a motion and second, there were no questions, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed, none, and that motion carries.
Okay, and then we have an electronic payment list of bills, payroll, in the amount of $80,740.49, excuse me, for payroll dated May 11th for the pay period of April 24th to May 7th. I make a motion to approve that as presented.
I'll second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Any questions about that? Seeing none, we have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
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 Opposed, none, and that motion carries.
Okay. And then we have a third general fund bank account list of bills in the amount of $119,273.84 with checks dated May 19th of 2022. Is there any questions on that list?
Doug Macklin,
All right.
Kilmer Insurance, 204, check number 62390. Their invoice number 934, reverse volunteer fire company. And then you wrote another check for volunteer fire company.
Judy.
Yes, they sent an incorrect invoice the first time,
Okay,
and we needed to take the credit and issue the difference.
okay. So it kind of does relate to check, so their invoice 908, there's just two different ones there.
That's correct, yes.
Thank you.
Difference is around $500.
Anybody else? Seeing none, I make a motion to approve.
I'll second that.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Any other questions? Motion and second, all in favor?
Aye.
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 Opposed, none, and that motion carries.
Okay, and then we have a total light fund bank account list of bills in the amount of $13,347.86 with a check date of May 19th of 2022. Any questions on that? Seeing none, I make a motion to approve.
I will second that. So we have a motion and a second. There were no questions. Motion and second, all in favor?
Aye.
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 Opposed, none, and that motion carries.
Okay. Couple other housekeeping items. I don't know, Mike, whether you had it in your manager's report to move forward with, but fuel pricing came through from the school district. Oh boy, what a change. Yes, they, on the diesel fuel, they had a transport price, which is a tanker load of diesel fuel of $6.12 a gallon. Keep in mind, we're under $2 currently. Significant change there. They did provide a price of $5.70 for biodiesel, which is a little bit better. The unleaded gasoline transport loads are $4.78. I believe, Mike, didn't they talk about not locking in for the year?
Yeah, right.
Letting it float to see if things would get a little bit better.
Exactly right.
Will they allow that in this contract?
They were talking about piggybacking with, what was it, another municipality there, Mike, or how was it?
IE13.
Yeah,
So the school district.
yeah.
cheaper that way.
Yeah,
So,
right, I'm just asking because I don't know yet, when they lock those in, I don't know that they'll go under 12 months.
yeah, they were talking about shorter periods of time.
We also really need to think about, because I'm watching it very closely with the police pension financials right now, daily. We really need to think about, if we're gonna go with a shorter time period, what are our projections and what is the validity of our projections that we think this is actually going to go down? Because there's, as of right now, as of today, I haven't read an analyst report yet that says it's coming down. So we really need to think about that.
I read today, Yellen was talking about stagflation and the 70s and the Jimmy Carter administration all over again.
If you watch, yeah, if you watch the inflation rates and if you look at the charts, we're lockstep with 76 or 84. Yes, sir.
Alan Fry, those prices without tax, right?
Correct.
Yeah.
And I think that was just a brief moment in time. It changes wildly from day to day and week to week. But that was the time frame where they were trying to bid it. So, it could change $1 a gallon either way.
So
Either way.
So these are the really difficult decisions we as a board have to think about, because we gotta live with it for a year. If it does go up, it doesn't go down, or you stay with 6 months, we try for 6 months, you could try for a year, and you gotta think about it.
Well, I don't know that the school board was necessarily asking for an opinion on that. Were they, Mike? Did you?
No, I think they just made it clear that they were going to,
This was the way they were going.
they weren't going to go with the bid that came in from Tally, and we're going to look to work with the other group for 6 months and then see where the market is closer to winter and determine if they're going to try to rebid it again or not. Remember, they bid this already once and didn't get any bids, I believe, the first time, and then they came back and bid a second time.
That was right in a time frame where things just started.
But we can provide feedback to the school district based on our analysis that we highly recommend that, we would like to see 12 months.
Mm-hmm.
And would they consider it? If we decide to do that.
Right.
We can provide them with
The way
feedback.
things are going, it's better to think for 12 months and not 6. Because in 6 months, it could be higher.
Not getting any better. Permitting's not getting done, and
I'm still also being questioned by the company whether we want to lock in our electricity rates. They have gone up significantly as well since they quoted us in March.
And for the publics, just to remind the public, we actually put in our budget a 60% increase on the rates. And I think we're gonna miss it.
That is actually one of the budget transfers or budget adjustments I'm suggesting in there. It's over 100%.
Yeah.
Every month, when I give you the gas bills, I write down what it was last year and how much it's increased.
Yeah.
And we had some very difficult discussions, and we finally settled on, and we thought 60% was high.
And it's over.
It's over already.
Well over. Yeah.
So
The good news is, we budgeted insurance at 15%, and it only came in at 6.5%. So we might have some money there to get us through the end of this year. But that doesn't, for the 2023 budget, it doesn't address that.
So we should also discuss then to lock in for the electric.
We have talked about it
Well, we
before.
should.
I don't know. We are locked in until 2023.
Right, we go through half the year of 2023, so we're looking at what that would extension.
But they want to lock us in now for July 2023 and then one for another 2 or 3 years. So electricity is actually locked in longer than gas.
I personally think it's something we should talk about, because they're gonna keep rising. I mean, UGI just sent something out too. Rates are going up for everybody. It's not coming down.
I don't know if 3 years is something we should lock in for, but.
Well, just since we're having this discussion, one of the big discussion points that I've been reading on the analysts is you gotta consider the lead time. That if there are strategic administrative changes in the direction of how we're doing things, we as in a country, you still have a significant lead time in making those adjustments. The analogy is that I like to use is you can probably turn a bass boat when you're running at full speed within 300 or 400 feet. You can't turn an aircraft carrier in 300 or 400 feet. It needs miles to turn that. So we have to think about the lead time, because those changes won't happen overnight. So just food for thought.
One other item to mention, this is the normal time of year where the donations go out to the fire companies, and the money that was budgeted for this year, I didn't know if there was any reservations or from the board about moving forward with that for our next meeting.
Okay, so that's everything.
Any concerns there to make the payments?
When do you guys,
It's normally this time of year.
So do you have a time you're gonna bring that up, that we donate money to them, or?
It's already budgeted.
It's in the
for this year,
budget,
but-
so I just need to know when we want to cut checks. I just need direction, which check run I should include them with.
Being that we're at Reamstown next Thursday, I'd like to see, maybe we can present all 3 fire companies with their checks there, possibly.
Well, we'll be there in the next 2 meetings, actually.
Probably better.
Do you want it for the board supervisors meeting rather than the?
Or we can just wait till we're back here at the building, so it's neutral.
That'll be a month from now.
Yeah, it's June, what, 16th?
The reason I brought it up is one of the chiefs made a comment the other day, election day, and so I said I would get clarity from the board.
Well, we got our bulk of our real estate, we probably have what, 90% of the real estate tax rate right
Yeah, like 92%.
Will there be a list of bills that run next week?
Yes.
now. Next week, meeting, special meeting,
Special meeting.
Thursday.
Well, you won't,
We can.
will you approve
The
it at that
agenda,
meeting?
we
You
can.
It's
I
advertised,
can
yeah.
put it on there. and-
Okay, I think that's what you're asking.
Do that?
Yes.
Yeah, I can do
Yeah.
that.
So if you guys are comfortable, we can make those donations at the roundabout meeting.
I'm on vacation, so it will be on Wednesday when they get cut.
Yeah,
The day before, so
No,
just so
I
you
just
know
think the
where.
roundabout meeting, with the invitations we put out should focus on the roundabout.
I personally think we should, like RC said, just wait till our next meeting here. It's in
Okay.
June, we're all in our building,
The
per se.
first meeting in June, have it on that list.
Well,
No, that
that's
one's-
also at the fire.
That one's at Reamstown.
The one after that.
So the next one that's in,
So it's
Month
3
from now.
meetings.
okay,
3 meetings.
understood.
That way we're here, we can invite them here.
Okay, fair enough,
We're just gonna have to wait another month, I guess.
fair enough.
All right.
Okay,
Yep.
thank you,
That'll do it.
thanks.
Mhm.
Okay, new business. I think we kind of hit 1 or 2 already, right? Anything else? No? Okay, public comments for non-agenda items. Again, please state your name clearly. It helps Lisa with the meeting minutes. Any public questions or comments? Okay, yes, ma'am.
I just have a question. Soon, ma'am. I just have a question. To sit on a committee here in East Cocalico, must you be a resident?
Unless the rules provide otherwise, like, for example, a sewer authority, the rules could be a business person, not a business owner, not a resident, could sit on a municipal authority.
Actually, let me add to what Matt just said, and I'll give you a perfect example. One of my commercial properties, I was asked to sit on the sewer and water authority at that municipality. And I did that for, I guess, 5 years, roughly. I was not a resident of that municipality, but I was a property owner of that municipality. To support what you just said.
Yeah. I think the Municipal Authorities Act is the only exception, but I'm probably wrong.
Okay, but that's water and sewer, that's a separate entity than township committees.
Correct.
So I'm asking the township committee, TIF, planning. My question is, and I thought of this, we have 2 new people on one of those committees, and did anybody check if they're a resident of the township?
They are. They are.
Who said it?
I said that.
Oh, they are?
They are,
They live in the township?
absolutely.
So you know them personally?
Yes, I talked to them before the appointments were made.
Okay, because I looked up their names and I couldn't find the one person resident in public records.
See me after the meeting. I can direct you where they're
If
at.
you say they live here, that was my question though, must you live here?
See me after the meeting. I
Just
can
own
tell you
property?
right about where they are.
And then there are committees and there are committees. Like the TIF and the Planning Commission are statutory entities that have specific responsibilities. Parks and Rec is a different animal, and I don't know that there are specific rules about that. You know, somebody could, I don't know, work for the school district and participate, and not live in East Cocalico and participate in the Park and Recs committee. I don't think there are specific rules about those types of committees, but I could be wrong about that as well. The question has never come up.
Well, maybe it's something you want to take into consideration. You wouldn't want to end up with a committee full of Everett Township or West Cocalico residents.
It's hard enough recruiting people to do the job that you're not going to recruit that many from Everett Township. Yeah.
Okay, thank you. All right, couple of announcements here. So again, we will have a business meeting for the roundabout, and that is going to be next Thursday, May 26th at 7 p.m. That will be held in person and live via Zoom, and that will actually be at the Reamstown Fire Company on Church Street in Reamstown. Again, that's next Thursday. That's about the roundabout specifically, and that will be at the Reamstown Fire Company, and that meeting will start at 7 p.m. Okay? The next supervisors meeting will be held the following Thursday, June 6th. It'll be at 7 p.m. It'll be held, I'm sorry, thank you. June 2nd, thank you. Let me start over. The supervisors meeting will be held Thursday, June 2nd at 7 p.m. That will be held in person and via live Zoom at the Reamstown Fire Company also in Reamstown. Do we,
I do request executive session for personnel matters.
you can go ahead and announce that for manager.
Requesting a executive session this evening for personnel matters regarding the manager position.
Okay, do you expect any decisions to be made?
No.
Okay.
We'll
So
adjourn from the executive session.
we'll adjourn from the executive session. So what we'll do now is I'll make a motion to close out the meeting now. We'll go into executive session. Okay?
I'll
So
second.
we have a motion and second, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed, none, motion carries. Thank you, everyone. Judy.